On this action-packed episode of UTR, we head over to awesome Owosso for a fascinating frogman, a classic castle, and a heapin' helpin' of Cajun cuisine. Then we find our way to Flint for some exceptional art, a historic home, and some soggy bottom burgers and beers. Get ready to explore the cool people, places, and things that make these two great Michigan cities the place to be.
Along the way is where we find the unexpected. Along the way is where we take in the scenery, and often where we have the most fun. Sure, along the way can be the place we stop to fill up or grab a bite to eat. But in Michigan, along the way becomes the place we've been longing for. Because enjoying the journey is always pure Michigan. Your trip begins at Michigan.org.
There's something special about the pride, the skill, and the passion it takes to build something great. The Construction Association of Michigan, CAM, understands that passion and has been providing contractors with the resources they need since 1885. A visit to the Stalls Automotive Museum will take you back to a time when cars were more than just a way to get around. In addition to beautiful cars, enjoy the collection of gas pumps, road signs, oil cans, and other car-related accessories. Info at stallsauto.com.
I've been around the world, but there's one place I keep coming back to. And the more I explore, the more I realize it's the place to be. I'm Tom Dalton, and this is Under the Radar, Michigan.
Hello, operator? Yes, could you please connect me with a town that's got great history, awesome shopping, and really good restaurants? Yeah? Oh, how do you spell that? Okay, yeah, great. Okay, thank you. Oh, wait. Where is it? Oh, darn it. Oh.
Well, while I sort things out, I will tell you that the town of Owosso was named after Chief Owosso, an Ojibwa tribal leader who lived in these parts. Today, Owosso is a thriving community with tons of history, a great downtown to explore, and tons of food fit for, well, you. It's also the largest city in Shiawassee County, which would put it right about, well, let's go to the map and find out exactly where the heck I am. Awesome Owosso is located pretty much near the middle of Michigan's mighty mitten. Just go to Lansing, look up and to your right, and there she is.
You know, Owosso is known for a lot of really great things. But poison dart frogs? What's up with that? Oh, look, there's one right there.
You heard right. Thanks to a place called Josh's Frogs, Owosso is now the largest breeder of poisonous dart frogs in the entire world. This unassuming building is tucked away right here in town. And if you're looking for a fascinating new hobby, this place is heaven. Zach Brinks is a frogman who took his love for these little leapers and helped turn this place into a genuine Michigan success story.
2 questions.
Yeah.
How close am I to the poison dart frogs, and should I be scared?
You're about 100 yards away from the poison dart frogs. They're on the floor below us, and you shouldn't be as scared.
Right.
Because all the dart frogs are not toxic. They actually get their toxins from the bugs they ate in the wild. So unless you recreate a rainforest in your living room, any poison dart frogs you may ever come across will be completely harmless and no threat to you.
You haven't seen my living room. How many frogs and insects do you have here?
Insects in the millions, easily. Frogs on the order of the thousands. So the vast majority of them are produced right here on site in Owosso, Michigan.
Well, how did this all start with you and Josh just collecting bugs in your garage?
Yeah, growing up, Josh lived near a swamp. He'd go and collect stuff. For me, I grew up with horrible allergies and asthma, and so I couldn't really have your traditional, like, haired pets. So, I could have a scaly pet. So my parents let me get a snake when I was 6, and it kind of, grew from there. Josh, it was a passion, it was a hobby, so he started getting some of the supplies and selling them for extra income so he could afford to keep these animals, and it just kind of blossomed over time.
So you not only breed and sell frogs, but you breed and sell the food for them, the plants they need?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and that's what you can kind of see around us, too. We want to make sure that if you buy a frog, not only are you getting a healthy animal and getting all the knowledge you need to take care of it, you want to be able to get the full setup, all the feeder insects, and that environment to make them happy in your home.
So the majority, or if not all, of the frogs you sell, and toads, apparently, they're all bred in captivity.
Yeah, exactly. We'll never sell a wild-caught animal or profit from it. That's a stance we take. Wild-caught animals are necessary. I mean, those animals you breed to make more animals have to come from somewhere. But we'd really rather them come, from captivity.
Well, that's really great because that way, like you said, you're not endangering the species in the wild, but you're still giving people the chance to appreciate these rare and exotic animals.
Exactly. I mean, people hear about the rainforest disappearing every day. Most people don't get on a chance to go on a plane and go check out this rainforest or anything. They have to experience it in different ways. A great way to do that is through exotic animals, if done responsibly. If you can experience something, you care for it, and if you care for it, you can serve it.
So with all that being said, Zach took me back to Kibitz with some critters.
So this is an Amazon milk frog.
Amazon milk frog?
Yeah, they're called because when they're in the wild and they're really threatened, they can secrete a toxic milky substance out of their back. But
Right.
This is a captive bred animal, so it doesn't get stressed out. It's used to a little bit of handling, so it won't do that for you.
Oh, you promise. Okay.
Probably.
He looks kind of blue.
Yeah, they're really, really neat. It's odd. Nobody's 100% sure why they're blue.
This is where I'm supposed to say, it's not slimy at all.
Yeah.
It's slimy.
Yeah. But they're blue because they actually have blue tissue, blue skin, even blue bones. And the inside of their mouth is blue.
Really? His bones are blue too?
Yep. Yeah, it's thought that if something was to attack this animal and injure it, that bright blue color might be enough to kind of startle it and give the frog a chance to run away.
He's got suction cups.
Yeah, these guys live up in trees. They actually live in tree holes, so they got to stick to stuff to get around.
Now, if I was to get a frog, if I was a first-time frog purchaser, would this be a good one for
Yeah, that could be a good one. They do pretty well at or slightly above room temperature.
Yeah.
They're pretty easy to take care of and keep clean. This is about as big as they're going to get, maybe a little bit bigger, so not too large of an environment, and they're pretty reasonably priced.
And he's housebroken?
Nope.
Now you tell me. Okay, I'll get him a house.
Well, they say the path to happiness starts with a happy home. But if you want a hoppy home, get a hold of the friendly folks at Josh's Frogs. They'll help you jump right into it, so to speak.
Now, they say that every man's home is his castle. Well, there was a guy here in Owosso that took that literally.
I'm of course talking about James Oliver Curwood, a great American author and Owosso native who needed a writing studio that would help inspire his incredible adventures. So in 1922, he built Curwood Castle right here on the banks of the Shiawassee River. And being the commoner that I am, I thought it best to meet up with Robert Duran Brockway from the Owosso Historical Commission.
Well, first of all, Robert, thank you so much for letting a humble serf like me enter the castle.
Well, you're so welcome.
For people who aren't that familiar with James Curwood, what kind of a guy was he?
So James Oliver Curwood was kind of a little eccentric, I would say. He was a writer. He started writing very early on. I think he wrote his first story when he was 9. And by the time he was in high school, he decided that was when he wanted to be a professional writer.
Well, I knew he was a journalist and an author, but I didn't know he also wrote feature-length films.
That's correct. Curwood was actually an American movie pioneer, and we're finding more and more about that as we do research. Over 265 films so far that are made on Curwood novels, short stories, and his serializations.
And did he grow up here in Owosso?
So he was born here in Owosso, and then the family left, and they moved to Ohio for a little bit. And they tried to make it there as farmers, and that didn't quite work out, so then they moved back to Owosso.
And what inspired the castle?
So by the time Curwood built the castle, which he started in 1922, he was incredibly wealthy. He was a multimillionaire for his time. Actually, at the time of his death, he was the highest paid author per word in the world. So he built the castle to show everyone that he had arrived. And so he had a lot of heads of state coming to visit him. He had a lot of directors, movie stars, royalty from England came to visit Curwood. So he wanted to have like a place to show people, even though he has a really amazing house, a beautiful house that he built, he wanted to have a place for everyone to come and party with him. I call this Curwood's party house.
You and I really need a snifter of brandy right now.
Probably some cigars, right?
I think James would approve.
I think so.
Curwood Castle and this entire historic complex is totally worth a peruse through. And it really is a fun and educational day trip for the entire family.
And I guarantee you'll have a ton of fun storming this castle. And besides, you never know what royalty you're going to run into. Oh, look, Princess Buttercup. Inconceivable. Last time I checked, there's a lot of kitchens down in Louisiana, and some pretty good food comes out of them. But if you're looking for some Cajun and Creole cooking that's a little closer to home, I got a place you're gonna love. I guarantee.
A whole flock of food aficionados recommended that we give this place a try. So here we are, smack dab in the middle of Lula's Louisiana Cookhouse, a gourmet gastronomic gathering place right downtown that serves up savory Southern selections, cool cocktails, and a mess of friendliness. I was looking for the person responsible for this Southern Owassonian oasis when all patrons pointed me in the direction of this guy, the crazy man in the kitchen himself, John Beelfus.
Okay, John, first question for you. Who's Lula, and does Morgan know you're seeing her?
Yes to the second question.
Where'd you get the name?
Actually, we had 2 Lula Mays in my family.
Now, I understand also on your business card it says untrained and uncorked.
Uncouth.
Uncouth?
Yeah.
Is it untrained and uncouth?
Untrained and uncouth.
Well, what do you mean by untrained?
I had no training. I have the advantage of, and you'll get here someday, age. When you get older, you'll understand better, probably.
No, not me, but go ahead.
But, I've got the advantage of age. So I was untrained, but I had 50 years of cooking for myself and my family and my friends, and been my passion since I was 15 years old, so.
Well, I was going to ask you when you got bit by the cooking bug, because it was pretty early, right?
So I lost my parents early when I was 15. So for the next 2 years, I ate in a restaurant, fish and chips, every day. And 2 things happened. I ran out of money, and I got sick of fish and chips. So I started cooking on my own and just fell in love with it, and particularly passionate for what I call peasant cooking from all over the world. That's the bug that bit me. I don't know if you can see down the hall or how that works, but I've got about 700 cookbooks over there, and that's my brain. That's my brain from around the world, yeah.
But how did you end up with a Cajun Creole Southern restaurant?
My family was from the South, so the food I grew up with was good, simple Southern cooking.
Well, I'm a firm believer that restaurants are 1/3 food, 1/3 ambiance or atmosphere, and 1/3 service. And people say that this place it's almost like a getaway. It's like a little mini vacation when they come here.
Hospitality is what I grew up with my Southern family. There was, the worst offense that we could have is somebody come to our door anytime and there wasn't enough food to put on the table for them. Never happened in my house with my mom. And so we started the whole concept here, not creating something to be an awesome restaurant, but creating something that Morgan and I, my wife and I, would be proud of. And it starts with that hospitality.
Well, I understand your cocktails are pretty good. Would you mind if I ordered a... Oh, look.
Oh, look.
Oh, my goodness. Well, here's to many more years of good food.
Thank you so much, Tom.
And many more of these.
The food we devoured at Lula's was absolutely down-home delicious. And the fun we had with John, his wife Morgan, and our newfound friends was second to none. I'm telling you, if you want to enjoy some flavor-forward food with passionate people, linger at Lula's Louisiana Cookhouse for a while. And if you're looking for a fun place to stop, stay, play, and go, try Owosso. And I'll bet you find it even faster than I did.
Oh, hello, operator? Hi, yeah, it's me. I just wanted to call you back and let you know I found Owosso. Right under my nose. Yep, thank you so much for your help. Okay, bye-bye. Hey! What the? No!
I come to Flint a lot, and not just because it's close to my house, or the fact that it's got a great downtown, cool shops, and awesome restaurants. Gosh, I guess that is why I come to Flint. Darn it.
No matter what you've heard or what you think you know about Flint, this is a great city full of determined, creative, and caring people who continue to move into a bright future. And if you come here as much as we do on UTR, you know that it's also a city rich in art, history, and awesome edibles. And that just happens to be the 3 things that brought us back this time.
So get on your fun feet and get ready to get on the good foot in Flint, so to speak.
But first, a quick reminder of where you can find said Flint. It's located 57 miles north of Detroit, 48 miles east of Lansing, and about 2,836 miles south of the North Pole, give or take.
Now, if you love art, culture, and community, there's a place here in Flint that'll literally float your art arc. But don't worry, they don't have 2 of everything.
This incredible gallery is home to the Mott Warsh collection. a private gathering of fine art created by Africans who are far from their homeland. With a focus on art produced since 1940, this collection contains creations from more than 125 artists, covering a range of media from drawing to painting, prints, photography, mixed media, and even sculpture. Now, to help me truly appreciate these masters, I made some time to talk with museum curator Stephanie James.
So what's the one distinguishing characteristic that brings all this art together?
It is a collection that focuses on artists of the African diaspora.
Now explain what that is, the African diaspora.
So the diaspora refers to Africans or their descendants who have moved to other parts of the world as a result of forced or voluntary migration.
The piece behind us with the little girl climbing the ladder, tell me about that one. I love that piece.
Yes, that's a great piece by the Nigerian-British artist Yinka Shonibare. And it's from his series of works that he's created called Magic Ladder Kids. And in this case, we commissioned it to include the names of several women with ties to the Flint area who are inspirational. And so in a sense, it's like the child is climbing on the shoulders of those individuals.
And it's a tapestry, I believe, that was hanging at the Flint Library. Tell me about that one.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's a wonderful piece by a Ghanaian artist by the name of El Anatsui. And it's a unique medium that he's explored for himself. He came across these piles and piles of bottle caps discarded from the nearby distillery near his on his way home to his studio. And as he began to manipulate them and play with them, he realized he could do some weaving with them and connects them into these elaborate, large-scale metal tapestries that in their color and pattern resemble West African narrow strip cloth, like kente cloth.
Who makes this collection possible?
This is all possible through Mary Ann Mott and her late husband, Herman Warsh.
Well, thank goodness for people like the Motts and other good deed doers. Because if it wasn't for people like that, I mean, they make this accessible to all of us. And again, I didn't know this was in Flint, and now that I do, I will be back.
All right, anytime.
That's not a threat, it's a promise.
The art on display here will grab your mind, body, and soul, and hopefully inspire you to learn more about these gifted artists and their shared culture. Check out the Mott Warsh collection in Flint. You'll be a better person for it. And I can use all the help I can get.
You know, on UTR, I'm always looking for places that'll broaden my brain, heighten my sense of style, and at the same time, lower my blood pressure. And here at Applewood, I think I found a barrel full.
Applewood Estate is part of the Ruth Mott Foundation. And if you're looking for a location with loads of history, buckets of beauty, and a heapin' helpin' of horticulture, this is your next day trip destination. So with intellect engaged and my curiosity kicked into high gear, I set out to learn even more from Raquel Team.
If you don't mind, I'm just going to pretend like this is my house for just a moment.
Okay.
Right? Okay, moment's over. This is a beautiful place.
It is an absolutely beautiful place.
Yeah, I should not live here.
Well, none of us live here, but Mrs. Mott really wanted it to be considered a resource in the community. And she wanted the house and the grounds and the estate to be a resource and a place of beauty and tranquility for her adopted hometown of Flint. And then her other core vision was to have this be a place that folks could come to and learn about the legacy of her husband, Charles Stewart Mott.
Yeah, because I noticed if you drive around Flint, the Mott name is everywhere. They were very, very influential and important to this community.
They absolutely were. Charles Stewart Mott was an auto pioneer. He was one of the co-founders of General Motors, but he was also a noted philanthropist. And so was Ruth, in her own right, a noted philanthropist. And the family has that legacy of philanthropy, of civic engagement. Charles Stewart Mott was a mayor of Flint several times and was very much involved in community life and in many, many levels.
What's amazing to me about this home, speaking of family, is this is their family home.
Absolutely.
And when you tour it, not only is it incredible inside, but it's cozier than I thought it would be. It's actually, you can tell it was a wonderful family home.
It was, and it was well used.
And the grounds and the gardens,
are amazing. How much property is here and how many gardens are there?
So it depends on how you count the gardens. So I don't have an exact count, but I can give you some of the highlights of the gardens. So we have a perennial garden that's amazing. We have a team of professional horticulture staff who maintain the grounds, and we also have a fabulous core of volunteers that help to keep the property open, to do tours, to help the horticulture team as well. Just under 19 acres inside the gates and total 34 acres total in the property.
Well, I would highly recommend people take this tour just because it's a great window into the life and legacy of a great family.
It is.
There's no ghosts in there, are there?
Not that I'm aware of. But
They'll
I haven't
find me.
spent the night there, so I don't know.
Well, remember, it's my house. Go ahead. Help yourself.
All right.
So if hobnobbing with fellow history hunters sounds like an awesome afternoon to you, stop and smell the flowers at Applewood Estate. It's a beautiful and relaxing way to find out more fun and fascinating facts about Flint. Oh, and don't worry, there's no pop quiz at the end.
Now, when was the last time you experienced a soggy bottom? Well, fear not, because the Soggy Bottom, of which I boast, serves gourmet burgers and bountiful beers. Bonus.
That's right, this is the Soggy Bottom Bar, an unpretentious place locals love, foodies frequent, and where beer lovers belly up to the bar. Yeah, it's a bar, but they've taken the food here to a whole new level. Ken Latz was previously a potent potable pourer, but he wanted to do something different. So he reinvented the whole hole-in-the-wall experience and made Soggy Bottom a bona fide destination.
You know, I love little hole-in-the-wall places like this because you walk in, everybody knows everybody, the drinks are cold, but the food's not always great at places like this, but you change that, right?
Yeah, we set out to make our food fresh ingredient, and just like we make our cocktails, everything is fresh juices, and the food is all fresh. We patty the beef, we make the egg rolls, we make the dressings and the dips and all that, because we want it to just be high quality. So even though it is a bar, it is a neighborhood bar, and the menu is bar food, it's a really elevated level of our food.
Yeah, what made you decide? Was that the first thing you changed when you came in here?
Well, when I came here, the kitchen wasn't open yet, so I opened it up, and that was the thing. I said, you know, if we're gonna make a burger, if we're gonna make nachos, if we're gonna do specials where we have bar-inspired food, I want it to be the best. I want our burger to be the best, I want our nachos to be the best, our fries to be the best. I want, if people demand ranch dressing because it's Michigan, I want us to make our own ranch dressing. I want it to be the best, you know.
So you guys have music here too. I mean, this is like your typical neighborhood little hole in the wall. Some people call it a dive bar, but it's not. I mean, it's all atmosphere.
Well, I think what we are is we're a product of our customers, the people that come in here. And I wanted them to feel like this was their bar, this was their home. And it's a direct, product of what people want.
Yeah, this is my kind of place.
It's my kind of place too. That's what I love about it.
You know, Flint's gone through some tough times, but we still keep coming back here because we love the people, we love the downtown, we love the food scene. The market is awesome, the farmers market downtown. What's your take on Flint?
Flint is back. Flint is on the rise. It's everything that it ever used to be. There's still a lot of work that we have to do, but we're not, as residents of Flint and as business people of Flint, we're not giving up, and we keep pushing, and that's why the downtown area is better than it's ever been, and we just keep pushing.
I'll be honest, this place is as comfortable as my own home. Only the food's better and the drinks aren't watered down. If you want to take your bar experience to the next level, and at the same time bump beers with some of the real folks of Flint, slide on into the Soggy Bottom Bar. And if visiting Flint isn't on your bucket list, you got a leaky bucket. So plug it and plan a trip here today.
Or as they like to say in Flint, come visit Flint. Actually, I just made that up. I'm sure their slogan is much better.